This is Kelso Sturgeon. Thank you very much for tuning in for another day of school at my College of Advanced Sports Handicapping. This report is for Friday and Saturday, and we do have a lot to talk about, a lot of big games on Saturday. But the most important thing that's happening this weekend is I am releasing my 200-unit college football game of the year. We'll speak more about that very shortly, but it's my college football game of the year Saturday. You do not want to miss this game. You know, I had a tremendous week last week and released an unexpected 200-unit college play, got all the money in a blowout win by Washington over Colorado. I released 6 big games last week, games rated 50, 100, and 200 units. Went 6-0 in those games. I have certainly set the stage for a winning day on Saturday, especially with my my college football game of the year. Please don't miss it. That game will be available on this site and toll-free at 1-800-755-2255. And the price is right, and I do take all major credit cards. Once again, Saturday, my 200-unit college football game of the year, available on this site and toll-free at 1-800-755-2255. Now, you might ask, what goes into arriving at a decision on a game that qualifies as a 200-unit play, a 200-unit game of the year? And I want to run down, just give you a little handicapping lesson in what goes on in picking a game of this importance. Now, the number one factor is that the betting line has to be soft, and it most certainly is. In this game, it's very, very soft. It's off by 6 or 7 points, so we have a built-in edge going in. The second point, the team that I'm releasing is the perfect an absolute classic power team versus weak team. You know, when you try to win big bets, you've got to go with a team that is absolutely the standout team against a very weak team, and of course factor in that weak number in all of that. Number 3, the team that I'm releasing has the all-important edge in the category of skill players. It takes skill players to win big games, and you want to find a team that has all the skill players while the other side has none. The team I'm releasing has 3 game-breaking players. The other team has none. The team I'm releasing has a dramatically superior offensive line, a dramatically superior defensive line, tremendous depth. They have a tremendous red zone offense and even better red zone defense, and they're coached by someone who knows how to win. Now, that's all the elements that are in this 200-unit play, and I know that you don't want to miss it. Once again, available on this site and toll-free at 1-800-755-2255. Now, a giant money move, the biggest money move I have seen this season, just arrived, and it's on Alabama over Tennessee. This is one of these games that the move's a little bit expected, but maybe not so much. The guys who came in on this game got down at 27.5 and 28.5. That game is now 29.5 in most places, minus 30 in others. All the money on Alabama, and it might be a factor that Tennessee will be without starting quarterback Tyler Bray once again. In fact, he's out for 5 or 6 weeks, and he is the entire offense, the key to offensive success at Tennessee. So do what you like, but the big bettors got down in a giant way on Alabama over Tennessee. Now there's 4 other plays of interest. These were all steam plays. Rice over Tulsa. The steam bettors got down at plus 11. The game is now plus 10. Surprisingly to me, Air Force over Boise State. The big bettors got down at Air Force plus 31. That number is now 29 and 29.5, depending on where you bet. Here's another game that kind of amazed me. TCU over New Mexico. Now we know that TCU is good and New Mexico is terrible, but those who bet on this game and made it a steam play got down at minus 41 on TCU. That number is now out to minus 42.5. Now another game, the money came in on Utah over California. The boys got down at +3 on Utah. That game is now Utah +2. But those are the big money plays, especially the one on Alabama. Now there's some very interesting things going on in the world of injuries and personnel plays, and I've got to address them because they're very important to what you do this weekend. Let's start with the Auburn at LSU game. LSU has suspended 3 players for this game, and all of them are very important to the success of LSU, or maybe they're not. Suspended for the game are running back Spencer Ware, the starter, cornerback Tyrann Mathieu, also a starter and one of the top 3 or 4 defensive players in the country, and then defensive back Thorold Simon. Now these guys were all suspended for alleged drug violations. I don't know what it means or what they were doing, but it's an interesting fact that LSU has overcome suspensions all season long, including that of their starting quarterback. And the reason that they can do that is that LSU is one of about 10 teams in the country that has blue chip, 5-star, primetime players, 1, 2, 3 through the entire depth chart. That means if this starter goes out, you just plug in the next one and they keep on trucking. Now, LSU is a 21-point favorite over Auburn today. It's your call, but in the past they've just kept right on going. It's a very important fact, too. They also play Alabama in Tuscaloosa next week. Now, the USC at Notre Dame game, USC will be without starting running back Mark Tyler. He's out with a shoulder injury. USC 9-1 in its last 10 meetings with LSU, and a big underdog in this one. Do what you will. Texas Tech will once again be without wide receiver Darren Moore at Oklahoma. Moore is out with a knee injury, and keep in mind that 2 weeks ago Texas Tech lost running back Eric Stevens, and football teams break down in their ability to win in direct proportion to the number of starters they lose. Just something to keep in mind. Toledo, a big blow against its home game against Miami this week, will be without running back Adonis Thomas, and he is a prime-time blue-chip player. They will miss him. Now let's go to the Oregon-Colorado game, which has a lot of people on edge. Now, Oregon remains a big favorite in this game and will be without quarterback Darren Thomas, who has a knee injury, but he says he's going to play, but the coach says he's not. We'll see what happens. They definitely will be without a superstar running back LaMichael James, leads the nation in rushing, 174 yards a game. So they will be without, probably without their starting quarterback, definitely without their starting running back. I have a strange feeling that Oregon is just like LSU. They just keep plugging them in, and honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Colorado, which has had a lot of injuries this season, will be without running back Rodney Stewart today, the starter, and the starting wide receiver Paul Richardson, who is by far the most explosive player on the team. Now, last but not least, it just seems to never end for Tulane. Tulane has struggled all season. Bob Toledo resigned as coach this week. This is a hopeless situation. Tulane has never been the same since Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. I don't know whether it'll ever be the same, to be frank, but this week Tulane now will be without starting quarterback Ryan Griffin with a hip injury, and he is a good one. Tulane hosts Memphis, one of the worst teams in the country, and it's your call on that one. Now for that free football game of the week and another little handicapping lesson. Now my free play today is going to be North Carolina plus the 10.5 over Clemson. Now, let me declare myself right up front. I think that Clemson will win the football game, but that North Carolina will get the cover. You know, trees don't grow to the sky. And Clemson comes into this game undefeated and dominating and against good teams, except in its last game against Maryland, where it struggled and had to come from behind to get the win, 56-45. Now, I believe on my charts that Clemson has reached the peak of its season. It will not get better. It will start to slowly decline, at least for 2 or 3 games. You're not going to decline against a team like North Carolina and get the cover. As I said, I do think Clemson will win the game, but North Carolina will get the cover. North Carolina always comes to play. It's played a much weaker schedule than has Clemson, but North Carolina's losses were at Georgia Tech 35-28 and against Miami at 30-24. Those were close games. North Carolina could have won them both and still be undefeated. Once again, the free play today is North Carolina plus the 10.5 over Clemson. Looking for Clemson to win and North Carolina to cover. And last but not least, another reminder, my 200-unit college football game of the year goes Saturday. It's available on this website, as are all of my other football services and games, and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. All major credit cards accepted. The price is always right. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go get the cash.